Good evening and welcome to this inaugural amazing showcase of Two-Spirit mini grant artists and culture workers. So thank you for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here, braving the traffic on a Friday night into the city on Market Street. Okay, thank you. You must love us very much. All right, so everyone, my name is Cristal Azul Barajas Bar, and I will be one of your MCs tonight. Your other MC is this lovely person here, Morgan. Yes! We're gonna share this responsibility and this honor tonight. I'm very excited. So my people are from so-called San Antonio and Colima. So I'm Chicana, Apache, Mayan. I'm a mix, I'm mezclada, mestiza, ni de aquí ni de allá, from all the places, right? I want to say welcome again to this special Two-Spirit Showcase, and I'm going to go ahead and read from my little paper here. Don't judge. So we are thrilled to come together tonight as a community to celebrate the creativity and unique perspectives of local Bay Area Two-Spirit artists. Today we have the privilege of showcasing their incredible talent and contributions to the world of art. And throughout history, I'm going to just take this off. Okay, throughout history, Two-Spirit individuals, Two-Spirit community, but Two-Spirit individuals have played vital roles in their communities, often holding sacred positions as artists, healers, and storytellers. And today we honor and recognize the rich artistic expressions that emerge from the intersection of Two-Spirit, identity, and creativity. In the face of adversity, the Two-Spirit and Indigenous queer community has shown incredible strength, resilience, and the ability to create beauty out of struggle. Tonight's celebration is a testament to the diverse voices and experiences within our communities, highlighting the power of artistic expression as a form of resistance and affirmation. Can I get an amen? Can I get a whoop? Can I get a hey? Thank you. As we embark on this journey of artistic exploration, let's open our hearts and minds to the rich narratives and experiences that will be shared tonight through various forms of art. Whether it's visual arts, performance, music, or other mediums, each piece holds a story, a message, and a unique perspective that contributes to the vibrant tapestry of our community. And we encourage you to engage with the art. Please ask questions of the artists here tonight, right? Connect with the artists. This is why we're here today. It's like an open studio, it's a showcase, it's an art share, it's like an art salon, right? It's a creative think tank, really. Together, let's uplift and support the Indigenous queer brilliance of our community. Here in the Bay Area, we are very fortunate to be here and live amongst each other, right? There's so much beauty. So thank you for joining us on this very special occasion. Without further ado, let the Two-Spirit Artist Showcase begin. All right, so to start us off, please welcome Bates, Executive Director Angel Plawis Papalot, and Program Manager Zamora. Get on up here. Get on up here. Yes, thank you so much, these fabulous folks.
Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. My name is Angel Ortlawis. I use he, she, they pronouns, and I'm the executive director of Bates. And so thank you so much for being here tonight. My people are Benza, which translates to people of the clouds. We're also known as Zapotec. And so I get to open us up with prayer, and then Zamora will continue to talk a little bit about how this particular project came to be. So if you're able to, would you please stand with me, please? Ometeo, Tlaso Kamatlime. We honor creation. We honor Creator. And thank and present with you with gratitude for all the gifts, seen and unseen, for all the artists and cultural bearers that are here with us tonight, and those who could not join us because they're taking care of themselves. As we go through this journey, we are understanding more and more that there are a lot of very beautiful gifts in community and a lot of very, very deep needs. We ask your guidance, your continued support. We ask that we continue doing this work in a good way, in a humble way, in a way that allows many, many more community members to enjoy what is created and join us in this journey of creation. I also send prayers to everyone that needs it. These are very difficult times that we are experiencing as we see a lot of pain and suffering in the world, all the way from Congo to Palestine to different parts of our community, our kin. All my relations, Ometeotzin, Tlazocamatl. Thank you.
Thank you.
You may take a seat, please.
Welcome, everyone. It's good to see you all. I'm Samora, and I'm the program manager here at Bates. And I'm just happy to gather with you again and to be working with this beautiful community. Just a little bit about tonight's occasion. What occurs to me is I'm so proud to be a part of this community and this organization that supports indigiqueer community building, taking care of each other, creating circles for us to come together, to ignite us, to keep us going. You know, that's what creating community is to me, where we feed each other, right? And we inspire each other. I'm very proud to be a part of an organization that remembers from the get-go the artist. Don't forget the artist. We do so much for each other. Queer gente, two-spirit gente, that have been a part of all of our cultures for so long. And the artist seems like, I don't know, everybody relates somehow, the creativity, the edge, the in-between, the coming of inspiration and the expression of it. To me, I've heard so many cultures acknowledge the role of two-spirit in that, right? That somehow we're related to that creativity. Creation is within us. This work that we're gonna see is gonna be so evident of that. So I'm proud that Bates has made space, made sure that one of the things we're gonna do, and I believe our friends are saying we're gonna keep on doing this. Why? Because lots of reasons, right? There's all of our organizations in different parts of different communities make space for artists, but it just feels real central to what two-spirit medicine might be in how I've come to understand that in my life right now. And so this mini grant process has been a learning experience for us as an organization, but we wanted to make sure that we acknowledge, and even when we were doing workshops, like, okay, you want to apply, there were a lot of folks that said, well, I've never applied for something like this before, and I'm doing this, how is that, how do I apply that? How do I call myself an artist even? I do this. It's my tradition. It's my culture. That's art. Yeah, I guess. How do I translate that to these applications out there that say, well, you can have costs for going to conferences. Okay, you don't go to conferences. We don't go to conferences. You know what we go to? We go to see our elders. We have to travel. We have to go meet our people who hold and carry the knowledge, right? So here I am talking to applicants about, yeah, that counts, man. Put that down. That could be a part of your application. Your travel home. Not just some conference, not just some, hotel in whatever city that's gathering. No, you go home. I love that. And I thought it was so beautiful, and I just wanted to share that part of what we were doing and what we're kind of committed. Well, we are committed to continuing to break down any kind of barriers that are there from us, our people, our native two-spirit folks, from being recognized and being supported. We'll do the supporting, and we'll also help us find our ways in this community of art, y quién sabe qué. So, what else do I want to say? It takes a lot. It takes a lot of planning. This is years in advance and in the making. Before we started, even people writing grants, people saying, "Hey, we should go after this." Why? Because we need to make space for our artists, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is a part of these organizing efforts. I want to thank the board. I want to thank our executive director. I want to thank the board from years before, because this has been in the making. This isn't the first time we're supporting artists, yeah? But it's a particular form of these grants and regifting. So anyway, I just wanted to share that and tell you how proud I am of our cohort. Thank you for your patience with me in particular and learning how to do this. How do you call your people? How do you make the process easy, not complicated? You know, you shouldn't have to speak somebody else's language to talk about your arte, right? Mm-hmm. Break it down. Tell them in your language, in your expression. I do this, and this is what it means to my cultura. I'm very proud, and thank you for giving me that opportunity to work with you. And I hope we're paving the way for the next time and the next time, so that it's easy and that everyone gets to find their place. Everyone gets to dig deep and dream and vision for not only you, because when you vision for you and your own expression, you're visioning long time, long count, as they say, for the people. Thank you.
Oh. And last but not least, we also want to thank and acknowledge the support from the Hewlett Foundation that gave us those resources to be able to then give back out to community in our way. You know, there was no prescribed way. We said, this is what we're hearing in community. Let us do the work, and they have allowed us to do that. And last but not least, the San Francisco LGBT Center, because they're allowing us to use this space for free. You know, and so and is part of a healing process that is occurring between Bates and the San Francisco LGBT Center, and so they're putting action into words, words into action. Yeah. So we're grateful that you are here. Congratulations, artists and cultural bearers. And with that, we'll get off the stage. Thank you.
Can we give one more round of applause for them? Really amazing. Thank you so much. Always appreciate the poetry that you bring, Zamora. So we are going to start with highlighting and bringing up some visual artists whose work you'll see around the room. So we're going to actually ask Sara Ceiba Flores, Nenu, and Tashina to come on up here and talk a little bit about their work. And I will introduce them right now. So I'm going to introduce Ceiba first. As a queer, non-binary, two-spirit cultural worker and midwife, Ceiba believes that there is an alchemy that occurs when we have visual representations of our divine, queer, and trans selves. A legacy of shame, grief, othering, and hurt has the potential to be transformed into self-worth, love, care, and respect when our images are treated with the dignity that we deserve. I also believe that Ceiba, and I do too, but Ceiba also believes that systems of oppression/repression must be dismantled so that we can have access to the resources we need to access the liberated lives that these transformative visual representations can mirror for us. As a mixed medium artist, Ceiba draws inspiration from their daughter, their beloved chosen family, and family of origin, who creates wonders with their hands, bodies, words, and actions, and their path as a midwife, in the abundant queer and trans natural world that we are all an integral part of. Thank you, everyone. Please, round of applause for Ceiba. Sara Ceiba Flores.
We didn't stage this part in advance. This was impromptu, so bear with me. Good evening, relatives. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Thank you for what it took to get to this room tonight. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for persisting. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for believing in yourselves. And thank you for the honor to be here in this room with you, sharing a little bit about myself and my art. I want to uplift, a moment ago the screen had the other artists on it. I want to uplift the other artists who are here in person and those who couldn't make it tonight and say thank you. It's a true honor to be in a circle of recipients of this mini grant with y'all. You inspire me. Thank you, Bates, for choosing me. My ancestors come from many lands. The ones I know are called Mayan. We come from the area that's now called Tegucigalpa in Honduras. My ancestors also come from Ireland and Scotland. And my transcestors come from all over the planet. And my transcestors are here strong tonight. How many of y'all can feel your transcestors, your two-spirit ancestors, named, unnamed? They're here with us. And they're proud of us. And I'm humbled to be able to speak at times when they couldn't speak. I want to share a little bit about my process as an artist. And I brought to the stage the one sculpture that is not my own on the table. So I'll just tell you right now, I did not make this. But this being this replica of ancestral art is a birthing person. Here's the baby coming out. The midwives in the room know this baby's coming out sunny side up. Occiput posterior, that's probably a little bit more intense of a birth because face is coming up. I always think that, like, they probably just made that so you know it's a head, but that's not the usual way a baby comes out. But babies can be born this way. And I've had this being on my altar for at least 2 decades. And I've looked at them so many times as a midwife and as a two-spirit, queer, non-binary, transgender, expansive being. And I've squinted so hard to see the two-spirit person here. I wanted to see their queerness. I've wanted to imagine that they were just like me. And I can see it if I squint hard enough. But one day, about 4 years ago, I had the opportunity to have clay in my hands for the first time. And I thought, well, wait, what if I actually create the being I've been trying to see? Could I do it? Can I? And I sat at my kitchen table with my daughter, and I began to sculpt for the first time in my life. I didn't grow up with art as something I had access to. I'm from occupied Anishinaabe lands, Detroit, Michigan, and my life was about survival. And when it wasn't about survival, it was about passing and performing to survive. So it was about survival in its own way. And that meant drawing inside the lines, and damn not gonna express myself as a queer person with my artistic outlets. So when I sat with that clay the first time and began to sculpt, I felt so free. And on the table back there in my humble offering, you'll see my first sculpture. And many of the sculptures on the table followed him. He's a trans man birthing in his fierce power, in the legacy of his ancestors. And that sculpture, as well as my other pieces, are meant to not just sit on a table to be discussed, while that is really important and I'm grateful for that this opportunity and other opportunities to share my work. My sculptures are really meant to be on altars and to be altars. And in fact, that sculpture that I'm talking about here on your left, I just asked my relative, could I borrow him off of his altar? Because he was sitting on the altar of a trans masculine man who's preparing to conceive. And in fact, I offered to infuse him with the energy of tonight. And then he'll go back to the altar. And that's what my pieces are meant to be. They're meant to be reflections of us in our sacred traditions, looking like us or not, but looking like somebody we might know, so that we can see how beautiful we are, how powerful we are, so that we don't have to squint so hard to try to imagine ourselves into every scene, to know we are in those moments of power. And I'll talk a little bit about each piece, and I really hope you get a chance to see reflections of yourself in the expressions. Before we move from that slide, I guess it's gonna loop. Okay, I get it. Okay, but y'all have seen it enough. There's that one image with 3 of the sculptures, and I just wanna uplift my daughter, who's on her way. Some of y'all know Ruby Quetzal. I hope she walks in the door right now. Her sculpture's there, and it's on the table. And when I started sculpting, she said, give me that clay, I'm gonna sculpt too. And she sculpted a being who she said was a parent who was meeting their adoptive baby for the first time. And you'll see that sculpture on the table. And what followed for me was a series of about 5 pieces that are of transmasculine, two-spirit, non-binary birthing people. Let me say that again, because we exist. Transmasculine, non-binary, two-spirit, gender expansive, queer AF birthing people. And as a midwife, I am so privileged that I have actually seen with my own eyes the ferocity of our people giving birth. We give birth with dignity. We give birth with integrity that comes through our ancestors and is our ancestors' wildest dreams. And I spend a lot of time making sure that the details of the faces that I've seen show through. And in these pieces, one of them is called Grit, that you'll see him gritting his teeth. And he's also called The Wound is the Place Where the Light Enters, which I honor Rumi in sharing that paraphrasing of the poetry, because he cracked. And if you work with clay, you know clay is the sacred elements: earth, air, fire, and water. And if you don't treat them just right, they're going to let you know that you're out of balance. And that piece cracked in many places and taught me a lot about humility. There he is. I'll just say one more thing about one of my pieces regarding birth, and then I'll end sharing about the central installation with the plant life. When we create reflections of ourselves, we make new stories, new narratives. And I am a midwife, and I have the honor of attending births. And I'm also somebody who believes that not everybody is going to bring children into the world. That's not everybody's path. It's not possible for everybody, and it's not what everybody wants. So I also want to name that my work is about creative fertility. So I invite you to see these birthing beings birthing themselves. That's also what's happening. And this is an invitation to y'all to lean into what you want to birth for yourself, who you are in your most authentic being, and how you want to share that with the world. Because I never thought of myself as an artist. I'm a midwife, and that's how I identify, along with other ways. But this grant gave me a chance to birth myself as an artist. This piece is queer as nature, and every little part is so queer. Take a close look. There's mushrooms coming out of the head. There's blackberries dripping from the lips. There's fennel pressed into what is the lung space where the alveoli are for our lungs. And I created this piece at the beginning of the pandemic as a frontline healthcare worker when I thought I would die every time I went into the hospital to care for pregnant people. And I was praying for my lungs to work. And they did. The pelvis, the groin of this piece is phallus, open shell, caracol, starfish, barnacles, sea anemones, mussels. And I tell y'all, when this piece came through me, all those natural elements of the world came through my hands, and then I looked them up and found out they all reproduce queerly. Every last one of them. Just like us as humans. Again, not about reproduction, always about making a baby, but about the way we make ourselves queerly as two spirits in our beauty. And I'll close with one of the images that I know has circled through the two-spirit healer. Healing contains multitudes. Also a self-portrait that started by molding the flatness of the chest that I wasn't born with and expected to have happen at puberty. And then molding the fullness of the breast of what my chest does look like. And the rest of the piece built around that incredible ability to contain multitudes that we have as two spirits. Beyond just the sacred feminine and masculine. Beyond. Infinity. Abundance. Plant medicine is pressed all into this being. Psilocybin mushroom caps are on the knees, inspired by the incredible Xochipilli, who is a guide for many of us. And the Mayan noses of my ancestors and my own nose came through in that sculpture all in about a day. The whole piece came together in about a day. And I'm so honored that this piece was able to sit on an altar for the Mexica danza, the two-spirit danza ceremonia that was recently, I love it, right? Recently offered by the colectivo that Tlawitz Papalot and myself are part of, BAM Cuties, Bay Area, Mexica, Queer, Two-Spirit, Trans, Danzantes. And that piece was able to actually sit where they were made for, on the altar. Because again, that's my offering to y'all, is that if you have an altar space, if you have a sacred space, and you would like these sculptures or one of them to be there, that's why I made this Medicine for You community. Thank you so much. I'm so honored. Oh, Mateo.
I feel like I need to take a deep breath. Just bring that all in, right? Take that all in. Okay, thank you so much. And next, I'd like to introduce Nenu. Nenu Cruz is, their pronouns are they, them, and AA. They are an undocu indigiqueer forest school educator, born and raised in Tenochtitlan, also known as Mexico City, La Ciudad de Mexico. They currently reside in Muwekma Ohlone territory, also known as San Jose, California. Long Beach, Tongva territory, has a special place in their heart. And in 2019, they founded Rayitos de Sol in LBC, an Escuelita Bosque rooted in ancestral ways for children to build relationships with nature in an urban setting. Please give a round of applause and welcome Nenu Cruz.
Me cambiaron el número. Hi, everyone. Oh, lower? Huh? No, it's fine. I'll stand. I get nervous. I usually speak with children, and I don't see any here. So I'm a little nervous. So standing works. So before I get started, I would like to invite all of you, and I'm gonna say it all at once, and name your two-spirit or indigiqueer elder in your life. The count of three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Keep them going. No, not many? Okay, well, this is, I wanted to start with that because the people in my life are little ones, right? They range from 3 years old to all the way to 10. One of them is almost gonna turn 11. Geesh, and I've known them since they were like 3. So having a conversation with one of them, they were telling me about their 4th grade experience and having to create a project about the missions. And this person was so upset, and just called me up and say, "Hey, Nenu, I need to talk to you. I cannot believe my school's still teaching this." So they took their time, wrote a whole project about how this takes place in Long Beach, so acknowledging Tomba people there. And they were so upset, they said, "Hey, I think we need to make something." And all of my work and passion always comes, and first of all, always comes from them and for them. So I said, of course. And just to share a little bit of that, I didn't hear some of you say two-spirit elders or indigiqueer peoples in your life. So that was exactly what was happening with these little ones. They were talking to me and saying, "Hey, I do have indigiqueer elders, but they're ancestors. They're no longer here." And it took me a minute to really, and this is making me a little emotional, but it took me to have to move to the Bay to be able to witness and really experience the magic of Two-Spirit elders that live here. And it doesn't come by a surprise that Two-Spirit elders that are still alive had to move to the Bay to survive, right? So we're putting one and one together. And when this grant became available, I really thought, wait, I'm not an artist, but I am an educator, and all of this is happening, and I know two badass elders that live in the Bay, but are from Tombaland. So can we bring them there? Can these children meet them and know that these elders are still alive and thriving and artists and are keeping traditions alive in the community and are feeding all of us here in the Bay Area with so much love and knowledge, right? So I took it upon myself to say, I'm applying and I'm bringing them. And Zamora, can you please make it happen? Bring the wakanwilla. The kids need to connect to the drum and really know that Two-Spirit elders are here and they're still alive and they're not just in the imagination of like the ancestral world. And not to say that that is also not part of it, because a lot of us are diaspora children that still have our elders in the ancestral world, and some of us have them on the other side of the border. So anyways, to continue this story, I thought about who the second person was, and it took me a minute, and I said, hey, Zamora, can you please help? Like, I need more Two-Spirit elders, indigiqueers that these children need to meet. And of course, El Frank came to within our conversation. And part of the work that I do, and I make it a point to say, is to uplift those that need to be taking space. I'll uplift the people that need to be in the room, uplift the people that need to be given those grants. Right? So yes, I am an indigiqueer person, and yes, I'm a person of many lands, and I've lived in many places, but I also make sure that the work that is getting done is going back to the people that belongs to, right? So that was my choice, was very much intentional to bring back Two-Spirit, Tomba elders to Long Beach area to meet with indigiqueer, gender-expansive children that by the age of 3 are telling me, hey, my pronouns are they, them. So that was very intentional. And I am very grateful, and I wanted to start with gratitude, but I get a little dramatic over here. I wanted to start with gratitude, but I'm very grateful for Bates to take a chance to fund somebody that is not from the Bay, but I mean, who is from the Bay nowadays? I know y'all move here. Well, some of you. So it takes a lot to like really figure out and take space to say, if I'm gonna apply for this, that means it's not for me. I'm gonna uplift the work of folks that have been doing that work here. So thank you so much for making it happen. We were very lucky to collaborate with 2 amazing community spaces in Long Beach. One of them is the Pacific Islander Ethnic Art Museum that hosted us for the first day. I got to meet an amazing elder there that was impressed with the children and how much they connect to nature, how they talk about their elders. Because one of the things that I didn't mention, and I would love to make sure that you know this about children, they might have thought of their elders as ancestors, but in this conversation and in the connection of meeting these 2 people, El Frank and Zamora, the children realized they already had elders that they have been connecting to, like the trees, the water, the rocks. So they talked about that, and this comes, and I'm not saying that this happened because of me, but this happened within, learning and community. And for me, it's also reminding the adults that children already hold this knowledge. And sometimes you just have to give them space to be able to say that out loud. And what a gift it was to see the Two-Spirit elders and the children have a dialogue and sit and exchange knowledge, because this is what we do in community, right? We sit and exchange knowledge, and we heal. And believe me, the healing didn't just happen with the children and the elders. It happened with their parents that were there witnessing everything. So just to close, I just want to say thank you so much for taking a chance and really allowing for us to experience what it is to work in communities, which is we're everywhere. We're not just in one place, and our communities continue to expand just like the mycelium. And that's the part of the work that we do. When we create something, we want to make sure that we're touching everybody's lives around us and making sure that they feel like they are held, and they know that for a fact there are Two-Spirit elders all over, not just in the ancestral world. Thank you.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Thank you. I'm just want to pause for a moment to just highlight how amazing this mini artist grant program is, because we just heard from two folks, right? Two cultural workers who do not consider themselves artists, but applied for this grant, and it's open for all people. This is like a cycle of inquiry. It's really like a question, right? An investigation. It is about bringing community together around, I don't know, like something that you see that needs to happen, right? And you're like, I want to help make this happen, and I need support. We need these funds to make it happen. So I'm just really grateful also to Bates for starting this program and really centering the artists as an important piece of our culture and the cultural work that we do in our communities. So thank you. And I also just want to connect to that, what you were saying, because it's true. Intergenerational, indigiqueer, queer, trans, connections is so key. I've been an educator for over 10 years. And let me tell you, when young people in our public schools and they meet other queer people and trans people from who look like them, who come from their communities, they're very surprised and they're amazed that it's that we're reflecting resilience and beauty and joy, and not just these sad stories that they're used to hearing about, right? They're like, oh, you're happy, you love your life, you're an artist, you're living your best life, oh, you're really fun. So it's really important for us to be out there and keep on being the light, so that they can follow that in these very hard times sometimes. With that being said, we have one more visual artist I'd like to invite up. It is Tashina Tactilium Parker. And Tashina is a California indigenous cis-femme filmmaker, textile designer, community cultural art activist. Tashina is the grandchild of Ralph and Julia F. Parker, child of Luis and Patricia Parker. Their people are Yosemite Southern Sierra Miwok Kutsadika, Mono Lake Paiute from their grandfather's lineage, and Kashia Pomo from their grandmother's lineage. And Tashina was born and raised in their sacred tribal homeland of Yosemite, Mariposa. Born into a strong indigenous lineage, Tashina has practiced ceremony with their Southern Sierra Miwok Nation tribal community since birth, and has worked as a cultural artist within the intertribal Bay Area Native community for over 15 years. Tashina descends from a powerful matriarchy of notable California basket makers, including their grandfather's grandmother, Lucy Tells, and their grandmother, Julia Parker. Tashina also holds a BA in Community Studies from UC Santa Cruz with an emphasis in art education, and a BFA in Sustainable Fashion, Textile Design, from California College of the Arts in San Francisco, where they graduated with honors as emerging talent. They are an active member of Southern Sierra Miwok Nation, frequently attending tribal meetings, ceremonies, and gatherings. In 2018, Tashina represented SSMN alongside tribal leaders in Washington, D.C. to petition for federal recognition, an ongoing 30-plus year battle with the U.S. government for tribal sovereignty. Tashina designs, creates, and collaborates with diverse communities and artists to illuminate issues of social and environmental justice and works deeply within regenerative design practices to create cultural work and traditional regalia that is in balance with indigenous ways of being. Tashina's life work is dedicated to community building, storytelling, and indigenous cultural regeneration through the mediums of film, traditional regalia making, textiles, and community cultural arts activism. Tashina's current work focuses on reskilling ancestral craft of regalia making practices and creating design which transcends the gender binary while honoring the sacred tradition and practices of our Californian tribal people. Let's give an applause for Tashina.
Wow, Cristal really went for it. You didn't even edit that down. Wow. Huyako, kanen oyahinti Tashina Tutuyum Parker. Enema mariposa awani, kanimiwa awani kashai kukarikari. Yahui, 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 kemalas. That is an introduction. You heard my name many times. I'm Tashina, and I am Southern Sierra Miwok and Mono Lake Paiute and Kashaya Pomo. Kashaya from my grandmother's lineage and Paiute and Miwok from my grandfather's lineage. And traditional regalia making is my practice that I am showing at the back of the room. And this is all of the elements in the regalia here are handmade and hand collected. The hides are brain tan buckskins, which I brain tan myself, and the rabbit hides, which I've also tanned myself. All of the shells and feathers are collected. Nothing is ordered online or store bought. It took me over 2 years to collect everything that you see here. And there's part of the practice is sharing this with community. So a lot of my teachings involve holding tanning classes for community members and feather top knot classes, which is the piece up top. There's some sacred items in the bottom, which are shells that we use for regalia that were all collected from the ocean side here in Northern California. We use clamshell, and we also use abalone. Where in almost every single part of the regalia making, everything is handmade, including the string that is made to tie the beads on that are at the bottom of the skirt. And the only thing that is not handmade is there's a tiny bit of thread that's sewn those little tassels on. But in the practice that there's a continuation of gathering materials. So there will be sinew from a deer that is gathered and attached to those. So part of the practice is, in my culture and where I'm from, the gender binary is still very, very prolific. We have traditional practices where it's very difficult to exist outside of the gender binary in California traditional culture. In my tribal group, women are often told by men what to wear in ceremony, and anyone who transcends the gender binary doesn't really have a place in ceremony in my community. And that makes it really hard for people to honor and practice our traditions because in many instances, people just don't understand if you're not cis female or male, they really just don't understand. It's I live in a community, or I'm from a community where it's up in the foothills near Yosemite, and in many ways people are still living in like 1960, 1970. And a lot of the opportunity that I do with my teaching practice is to share the regalia making with queer people, and to open that opportunity up for people to make any of the elements that they wish to participate in. So whether it's the shell making, the feather making, the hide tanning, and to do it in a way that feels authentic to them. I first started tanning hides 10 years ago, and when I first started tanning hides, I was shamed in my community and told that that's men's work, and that I was disrespectful for doing that work. And that really hurt me, because as we all want to only be embraced and loved within our own communities, I was ostracized for doing that practice. And I abandoned it for almost 10 years, and probably a little less than 10 years, like 7 years. And I really felt called that this was my work. As was said, I have a degree in fashion design. Fashion design is a very destructive practice for the environment. And I grew up watching my grandmother weave baskets and collecting plant materials from our natural world. And I knew that there was a process of creating that was beautiful, that was in alignment with the regenerative practices of the earth, of all the natural materials that we are surrounded by. And so I knew that that was the practice that I wanted to embrace. But without having someone to teach me how to tan hides, I decided to embark on that and teach myself. And in that practice, I was crossing the gender binary, and it became a little bit dangerous, as it is for people who, queer people, trans people in my community. And so there's an element on the back that is a feather cape, and in our tradition, usually people who are identified as male wear the feather cape. And in this representation, there's both the representation of the feminine and the masculine. And this is a work in progress. This takes many, many years to collect all the elements for this and to hand process everything. So it's probably not going to be complete for another few years. And it might not look that revolutionary to people in this room that don't know California indigenous practices, but challenging that gender binary can be really dangerous still within California indigenous communities. We really, really highly hold our traditions, but oftentimes our traditions also do not make space for people who are outside of the gender binary. So this is a work in progress. I had an opportunity this summer to teach 2 hide tanning classes with community in Northern California, Pomo community, and my community in Mariposa, and 1 feather top knot class. And part of that practice is sharing that practice with queer identified people in my community so that they can free themselves from the gender binary within our cultural context. So this is my work, and thank you so much to Bates for allowing this to happen. And this community has been something that has been really special to me since I moved to San Francisco and started to get involved with the Bates Two-Spirit Powwow. In what I had seen in my tradition, there was no space for Two-Spirit people to dance or to be in ceremony, and so that the fact that the powwow exists is really beautiful to me. And I have many friends within this community that I hold dear to my heart and that inspire me all the time to just live my authentic self without fear. So, Yahweh, 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 Kamalas.
Thank you, Tashina. Now you know, if that's your bio that you sent me, I'm gonna read it all. Hey. Did somebody say Virgo? So I'll go ahead and do a little disclaimer. Silver, do you want me to read your whole entire one? No, okay. Your face is like, please don't. Okay, I got you. All right, I'm just gonna read the first part. All right, Silver Galeto, thank you, is a Southern Pomo and Coast Miwok basket weaver that has been passionately revitalizing weaving back into their tribal community. Silver has been highly involved with his tribal community and has served as vice chairman for the Cloverdale Rancherias Council consecutively for the last 19 years. Additionally, Silver has been devoted to Sonoma County Indian Health Project for the last 20 years, serving as the Chief Operations Officer. Within the tribal community, Silver has balanced the traditional, governmental, and healthcare fields and loves serving his community. Let's give a round of applause for Silver.
Kamaya Silver Galeto Ato Ashiao. I was a little confused on what we were supposed to do for the showcase. I thought we were supposed to present. So what I had done is we'd created an exhibit in Santa Rosa, just on the other side of the gate. And then they had spoke about having an exhibit here. So I started working on a basket a few weeks ago, but then they said they wanted a short film. So I finished that basket for no reason, but it motivated me to get it done. So that was good. So my name is Silver Galeto, and I am from the other side of the Golden Gate. Once you go over to Sausalito, that is Coast Miwok territory. I'm from the Marin and Sonoma County areas. When I first got this grant, I thought about, over the last 4 years, I've been trying to create more weavers in our Pomo community. And when I seen this as a grant opportunity, I said, oh, there's funding, you know, I could get that money and I could give gas cards to people that can't afford it. I could buy clippers, I could buy lunch, I could pay people stipends to go to museums so that we could research our baskets. And my friend said, you can't do that. You can't take this gay grant and apply it to your own tribe. She said, if this is a gay grant, you need to apply it back to the gay community. And so I thought about it, and I thought about myself. And when I was younger, a teenager, I started weaving baskets. And there was this other basket weaver, and she wanted to be the last weaver. And she told me, men don't weave. You shouldn't be weaving. And it discouraged me from weaving, and I stopped for a long time. And I got mad at myself because I was told by a lot of my elders that I would be the one that was going to revitalize this basketry, and that it's my job, it's my goal, but I let somebody put something in my head and discouraged me from doing what I knew was right. And so when I thought about that, I thought about my identity, and I thought about the youth and other kids that could be like me. And I said, if they were grounded in our culture, they wouldn't worry about what one person said. That wouldn't stop them. And so what I wanted to do is spread the message to our youth that if you feel strongly about something, if you feel passionately about something, it doesn't matter what sex you are, male or female, it's that you're carrying on our traditions. Our ancestors don't look at that. Our ancestors just want to make sure that our culture survives. So I thought a lot of people wouldn't listen to me in my community because I'm too old. So I thought about going out and getting a couple other weavers that were gay in Northern California. So I reached out to a couple of friends that was Karuk and was Maidu, because they're younger, one's in their 20s and one's in their 30s. And I said, these people will be able to go out there and we'll be able to do this campaign on social media and be able to tell people that it's okay to weave and to believe in yourself. So this short video that I did, it's just a TikTok. I don't know how to make videos or anything, but this is gonna show the other two that are in the exhibit with me, and then it's gonna show the exhibit that we did in November that goes until January.
Hi guys, Roles, Rules, and Responsibility is a new exhibit at the Santa Rosa Junior College Multicultural Museum featuring Jared Lincoln, Silver Galeto, and Agustin Granados Young. Stop by and see us.
Here at the Roles, Rules, and Responsibility Showcase, I'm testing to see if our Facebook Live has enough data inside the museum, but let's go ahead and check it out. One of the artists is Silver.
One right there, it's about this big, took about 5 months. So.
All his work, he's got so much work.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
We have Augustine right there. Wave Augustine. And then myself, Jared Lincoln.
I think I could have done a lot more had I not been discouraged. And so it's my dream to make sure that any other tribal kid that's questioning their sexuality understands that it's more important to preserve our culture than it is to worry about what sex is doing here. There is not enough people out there preserving and practicing our culture. Beggars can't be choosers. If we're gonna come in this form, you take it.
My message to all the youth out there is to follow your heart, because in order for many of our traditions to be saved today, many traditions had to be broken. And rather than thinking of it as breaking tradition, think of it as tradition adapting in order for it to be saved.
And my message too is that I feel like we have been here for time immemorial, Two-Spirit people, and I feel like we're just reclaiming and reconciling our part in doing what is right. And I think we've showcased that at the museum, that we are masterful weavers, no matter what form, what medium, and it is something it is a valuable resource for our communities and our people.
Follow your heart, follow your passion, and listen to your ancestors and make them proud. Yahweh.
Yo.
Guide me and help me be strong in who I was and what I believed in. And so to those naysayers, Silver, I validate you, I thank you for your opinion, but it's something I don't believe in. And so you're entitled to that, and by all means, I just won't give you a whole lot of my time. Because my energy and my time I want to spend towards positive, towards constructing, to rebuilding, to revitalization. And if you're going to be a barrier, then I don't have time for you. And I'm sorry, there are people for you. But I, like Silver, am a huge advocate, and I also want to honor my people and my tribe.
We have a place in our community, and my teacher Susan always stressed to me that there had to have been men that were weavers, because there weren't enough people wanting to learn or enough people to pass on to. So a lot of our old people, when they were staying with their grandparents, they learned how to weave and learned how to do certain, traditions that might have been breaking tradition, if you would. But at the end of the day, the culture belongs to everybody.
Like what you're saying now. And some people have their mind made up, they have their views, and they're entitled to it. That's their opinion, whatever. We just gotta stay strong in our own convictions. Stay grounded, stay true to yourself. your identity, your family, your tribe, your culture. And I think that's what's most important. Because there are going to be naysayers out there. But keep your head up. If you know you're doing right, just keep trucking along. Knock them out like a Mack truck. Sekamaya, Silvergalero Ato Ashiao. We are 3 weavers from the Northern California area who are breaking traditions by doing what we feel passionately about, and that is weaving. Regardless if you've heard that only women weave, we're here to prove otherwise. Men can weave too. We also want to send that message out to our youth that if you feel strongly about carrying on your traditions, please do so. Don't get discouraged by others.
Definitely, and definitely reach out. There are resources, there are people just like ourselves. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and then in your tribal area, so like where I come from, there's Two Feathers. It's a wonderful resource. It was created to help support youth and get them access to culturally activities such as basketry, regalia making, and the list can go on and on.
Make sure to check out your own local cultural resources as well as our exhibit, Roles, Rules, and Responsibility at the Santa Rosa Junior College Multicultural Museum. It will be up until January 25th, so be sure to stop by and check out our basketry. And we hope that for all the youth out there, that we inspire you to become weavers as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that beautiful work. I'm sure a lot of us in this room can also relate to this, right? In terms of being told, like for some of us who are singers and drummers, that we're, as women or, not cis men, you're not supposed to be drumming, right? And that's something that I heard many, many years ago. And I'm so grateful that these days that is not as common, at least here. But I do understand that in other more, other spaces it still exists. But so thank you for all the work that you're doing, Tashina and Silver, around uplifting just like non-binary and weavers who are not women, who are not femme, who are not feminine, or that all people can weave and that all people are able to wear this regalia and participate in these practices. So thank you. So in the interest, so I know we're running behind schedule, right? So we have 3 different artists that are not here tonight. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to we're going to cut that from the program today because we're going to edit this video. Gwen's going to edit this video and we'll be able to watch all of this online later on, but just in the interest of time. So we are going to move forward with our live artists. To honor your time. So you would like to introduce the next person, Morgan? Okay. All right. Thank
you. Hello, good evening. My name is Morgan Wallace, and I just want to thank you all for being here, being present with us. I would also just like to take a moment and recognize that artistry is at the forefront of culture itself, I believe personally. And so this is a great experience and a great honor to be in the presence of these artists who were rewarded this opportunity. Sorry, I was running a second ago, so I'm out of breath. So we're going to go ahead and call up our first performer for the evening, someone who I've gotten the privilege to meet and learn about over the last year. Our next performer is Auntie Bibi Anuhea, sometimes Auntie Brown, Sugar Boba, more recently Anko Bibi. Anko Bodo Bangas is a shape-shifting Mahu storyteller, dancer, poet, and performance artist. She was born and raised in the islands of Oahu and Big Island, where her Japanese ancestors emigrated to. With lovemaking and combating colonization, this mixed-race Mahu Two-Spirit Asian icon was born. Her work combines written spoken word, echo erotica, food erotica, song, dance, and pule, which is Hawaiian prayer. After her performance, you will be left sticky, wet, and questioning why you want to decolonize your pee all of a sudden. We can use context clues. We're all adults. All right. Without further ado, the lovely, the wonderful Auntie Pee Pee.
You see the military's occupying Hawaiian land since 1893 when they invaded our land. Trying to stay afloat to raise our kiki sons and daughters. But in 2020 when the Navy poisoned our water enough, demilitarize the occupy Hawaii, drain the tanks and clean up all the mess. No longer we suppress, we chanting with our chest, drain the Red Hill tank. Said it's time for an indigenous uprise. We see the fire burning in the children's eyes. Without clean water, nobody survives. Drain the Red Hill tank.
Abrupt negligence, Department of Defense, furthering pollution of our fight. Consequences are immense, yeah, we've been here before. We fought for Kanaloa, let's follow on their path and we'll use our akua. Hey, Kane, Kavaiola, Nanaka o Kauila Kupanaha. Hey, Homai Kavaina Olua o Kanaloa, Iola Loa, Kavai, Ola Kavai. Mai kapa'a iluna ilalo Pua ia e koai manalo E kahea mai e na kia iwai.
Drain the Red Hill tank. Said it's time for an indigenous uprise. We see the fire burning in the children's eyes. Without clean water, nobody survives. Drain the Red Hill tank. Hawaii, drain the tanks and clean up all the mess. No longer we suppress, we chanting with our chest. Drain the Red Hill tank.
We don't blame the poisoned waterways for poisoning our waterways. We protect and guide them to healing and survival and hope that one day they can flow like their kupuna did. Rush through the veins of the land and nourish the life you once did before they poisoned you, waterway. We don't blame you, poisoned waterway. We do fight for the source and springs who managed to bring life, spurt from the core, stream from the mauna, liquid from the bosoms of the earth, healing the source, suckling from headwaters. Water protectors protect water, kia iwai, laying pule for the waterways that have drowned and can't cry, it's too dry, that have dammed and can't connect to the other side, laying pule for the poisoned waterways. We don't blame you, poisoned waterways, for poisoning our waterways. We're poisoning our internal waterways. We can't drink from the poisoned waterways, or we continue to poison our veins and our body. Our bodies can't carry water to the waterways, to the plants, to water the plants that are poisoned. Poisoned plants can't get blamed for sprouting out of poisoned communities. Poisoned plants roots poisoned communities. We guide and protect, heal from the source, and one day, hopefully, it'll be poisoned no more. Aloha anuhea ko'uinoa. My name is Bibi Anuhea. Or sometimes Auntie Bibi, sometimes Uncle Bibi. I'm a poet, I'm an activist, I'm a drag artist, I'm a dancer. And these are other garments I commissioned with Bates and the New Grant. And all of them come from different aspects of my culture. And all of them were used in some form of self or other or water or elemental Kule prayer. I wanted to upgrade my work because I was using like hand-me-downs, even the makeup, guys. Come on. And I bought new makeup. I commissioned artists from Asian and Indigenous and Islander descent to make these outfits, to tell stories. Because all of our two-spirit, our Mapu kin, because I identify as Mapu Wahine, we're storytellers, and that's a healing aspect. Because without us, like, who hears what our kupuna used to say? The two over there are the nine-tailed kitsune. And the kitsune is the fox. She's cunning, she's sexy, and a lot of people know that story as almost like a succubus. But I see her more as my kupuna, my ancestor. Because she has this divine feminine rage that comes out. And it might hurt the ones we love sometimes. But it also, it's protective, it's motherly. And I created her, I created the character and the outfit to go on stage at Oasis and other events like Cristal's event and Murmuration. And I had someone playing my lover, but I also had two people playing politicians like Michael Knowles who were creating transphobic laws. And I devoured them with my punani. That's those two. The other two kind of both resemble powerful islander femmes, as I'm Mapu Wahine from Oahu, born and raised, and then got to be here for a good second, you guys. And so Chi Chai created the pink one on your left, and that one I named her Multitasker. And down the line when I perform her more, in the vision she has a headpiece that's just like Post-its and like a bunch of things and just like, you know, like us, I'm trying to survive this late stage capitalism. While looking cunt too, you know? And so I used her to host and dance. And then to the right of her is by Rated R Design. Rated R Hawaii Design is a Mapu fashion design company on Oahu. And similar vibe as Multitasker is a powerful Indigifemme. She's mimicked after Palaka, which is the checkers, and Moo print, and mesh, and it's like quantified with a harness and vinyl, and the same artist, Jin Young Designs, who helped me with the kitsune, helped me with this outfit, which was one of the first garments that I made myself. But then they added more. They officially corseted the corset because she was zipper. And then this train added the train, and then this tool is Rated R. And this whole moment that you saw on stage, I got to perform at the Bates brunch as a water prayer, combined with the poem I wrote while I was creating the look and creating the number, because in 2021, the Navy, I'm just saying the whole military, they poisoned our aquifers.
Yeah, they fucking did.
They poisoned our aquifers and it's still poisoned to this day. As of October this year, they're finally draining the tanks. So that's exciting, but their plan is some bullshit, as it usually is. They're transporting the fuel to other islands, to who knows what plan. Maybe they're gonna let it sit somewhere above ground. Maybe they're gonna just like put it next to some other aquifer and hopefully cross their fingers. But it's a lot of bullshit. They're just taking it to the Philippines, and then the other tank, they're taking it to the other side of the island. It doesn't make any sense. So that's why I pay for my waters every day, because that affects everything. Our water affects everything. And I'm so grateful for Bates, because I was able to go deeper into my culture. I was able to go deeper into my prayer and show what I have today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bibi. That was beautiful. As always, wonderful work. Can we get another round of applause for Bibi? Thank you. All right, so we are getting close to the end of our program, but before we do that, I want to welcome up a couple of special guests who I don't see in the audience anymore. So I would like to welcome up Sean and Adrian Snyder, our Sweetheart dancers, to come. I believe they're showing a film and they're also going to be talking. So without further ado, Sean and Adrian, thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Thank you again for hosting Bates and all of the contributors that put this together, especially the Artist Mini Grant. A little bit about me. My name is Adrian Stevens. I'm Northern Ute, Shoshone Bannock, and San Carlos Apache. I grew up in northeastern Utah on my mom's reservation, the Uinta-Inouye Northern Ute Reservation. Growing up there in rural northeastern Utah, I didn't have a lot of representation. So, like a lot of words have been spoken tonight about keeping us in survival mode and keeping us current and being thankful at the same time. And those all resonate with me growing up in a rural community and not having representation that I could look to every day and say, I want to be like that Two-Spirit person, or I want to be like that queer artist, and be able to accomplish these amazing things, whatever their medium may be. So thank you, Bates, for hosting this and putting this together, and again, all the contributors that supported this grant.
Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? My name is Sean Snyder. I am non-binary and Two-Spirit. My pronouns are they, them. I am Navajo, and I am a Southern Ute descendant. My family both comes from Southern Utah, and for me, myself, I grew up kind of all over the place, being this little powwow kid that was just brought into, surrounded by culture every day. And so I'm really grateful for Bates Two-Spirit organization to give back to these artists and artists like us who live within our culture and practice these things all the time. For us, this workshop or this grant was able to provide us the space to keep working on projects just for ourselves, which is very rare that we get to do those types of things. We're beadwork artists by trade. For me, I've been beading for the past 15, 16 years. The better part of my life, honestly, since I was a teenager. For me as a craftsperson, this art has been transferred from my auntie, from my grandma, all the way down. They were all dancers and brought into, powwow life and powwow culture, and So that's what I grew up really doing, really connected to not only my own culture as an individual, but to seeing so many representations of Native culture across, the Turtle Island. And to see that growing up was really impactful because I was that little queer kid growing up in my own family of a lot of siblings and a lot of cousins by extension. But art was my getaway, and I am probably one of the few craftspeople within my family that really commits their time to creating and producing for their own family or just for other people. So it really holds me near and dear that, Bates respected me as an artist to grant me, this kind of funding, as well as these other amazing artists here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to elaborate a little bit more on what Sean and I do. We refer to ourselves as multimedia artists, but I always like to pay homage to, I grew up as a powwow dancer. I grew up dancing Northern traditional as a little boy, and, always had that desire to try a different style, whether it was grass dance, whether it was fancy dance. And I really found my home at the age of 12 in grass dance. And so I've been dancing grass since I was 12 years old. And at that young age, I knew I was a two-spirit individual. I knew I was different, and I just didn't quite know my place and where I fit in. And growing up traditionally and in that traditional environment with my great aunts and my grandmothers, they had such a big influence on me. And so I was that impatient kid that didn't like to wait for a new grass dance outfit and for everybody to have an input on it. So I was that craftsman that already paid attention to everything. And they always say, if you want to learn something, you got to sit down and you got to pay attention. It's not even listening or talking, it's just looking and absorbing and seeing the actions and the routine. So I was that kid that was always told not to touch something, but I went and did it myself. And so that's how I learned how to sew. And so since 14, 15 years old, I've been creating my own regalia and sewing. So everything that you see and have seen us previously wear has all been sewn by me, with, of course, Sean's design element. Thank you. But I just want to talk a little bit about representation and how my elders in my community acknowledge that and how they fostered that within me. It started with one of my grandmother's sisters who had passed. And during her funeral, we've heard it here tonight where that's for men, that's for women, that's a woman's role, that's a man's role. I grew up in such a fluid tribe, the Northern Ute tribe, that it wasn't even spoken, which was really impactful. It was the actions that were taken. So when it came time for preparing for burial and we went to go dress my great aunt, it was her sisters that were surrounding, and we have this moment where we wrap the body after they're fully dressed. And all of this is women's jobs. And when my family really came to let me know that we know who you are without saying it in so many words, was when I'm carrying all the blankets and it came down to, no, you're coming back here with us. You're coming back here into the room to help prepare. And that was a humbling moment for me, to feel finally recognized, at 15, without having to say, I'm an out loud, I'm out proud person, because I was still navigating that, but even to just say I'm out, And so I'm really thankful for those community members that foster that and that look after these young ones, because I was that young one. And one of our big motivators in some of the work that we do is create that representation that you didn't have when you were younger. What did you need to see? What did you need to feel to have that inspiration? So that's just a little bit about me growing up in northeastern Utah. But in the last 10 years, Sean and I being together, we've been very fortunate to champion and break a lot of these glass ceilings for our younger generation. And that's the way I look at it, is every campaign, every time we've spoken, every time we've danced together or created beadwork, it comes from a place of representation, because I want to see another queer couple do it. And I want them to do it 10 times better than we've done it. And knowing so much more and feeling that much more secure about how their identity fits within their culture. So I just want to share some of those things that have been imparted onto me, because this grant, like Sean said, it's helped us to repel some of our own personal projects, because us as ambassadors, us as cultural bearers, we want to share it, but also we want to wear it sometimes. And so that's why I'm thankful that Bates put on this beading workshop these last 2 months for us to come in and help facilitate and share that knowledge and share that joy that you get out of creating something. I'll let Sean talk a little bit more about our outfits.
I'm so grateful to Bates as well, bringing us in to be head dancers these past 2 years at the powwow. It's been such a great experience to be amongst you all and community in this Bay Area. So exciting. For both of us, we just longtime dancers, so coming into this, we decided to do the Sweethearts competition, probably a good 7-8 years ago together. And upon first trial, we were really faced with a lot of backlash. People told us it wasn't for us. We got called out by the MCs publicly. Things happened thereafter with just the one individual powwow. But we had danced for years together, out in the arena, out in that circle. And only coming to Southern California, 1 year, we were faced with such hardships that year. And it really put us on notice that, not everywhere sees this kind of equality happen, and not everywhere sees this kind of partnerships be able to take on the arena like that. So we're really grateful to have that space and to come out and be respected as dancers these past couple of years, and to showcase our own personal, family values through our dancing, but also to show our love and everything that we do and just our Sweetheart dancing. And thank you all for making us representatives for our own Two-Spirit community. Like, we really do appreciate all of that love. I think we're gonna watch a video in just a little bit, but it's of us in 2022, just a year and a half ago at the San Manuel powwow, and so we danced at the Sweetheart competition there, and that was probably our 4th or 5th time competing. And this year, in this video, you'll see we placed 4th this past year, which was really exciting for us. We've competed and placed consistently in the top 10, which is really awesome to feel that like that and to be represented that way.
I think just to add to the contest, the Sweethearts contest, when that all took place, this was back in 2017, and since then we've had a documentary. Some of you may be familiar with Sweetheart Dancers. It is streaming on Showtime and also the Department of Educational Resources, so it is available for K-12 programming and higher education purposes. But with that documentary, we really were able to champion some change that I didn't know we were creating. And it's kind of like that ripple effect we talk about. You never know what the impact that you're going to have until years down the road, time down the road. And I'm thankful to say that we have been able to maintain that rule change within Indian country, within powwow culture, because when we go to powwows across the country now that are so heteronormative and into that commentary, everybody's on notice. Everybody's a little hyper aware of those homophobic comments or those trending homophobic comments. And so I'm thankful that we have been able to occupy a space that makes the community, our Native community, aware of those uncomfortable comments and those long-lasting impacts those negative impacts or negative comments can have on our youth. And so I'm thankful that when we enter a space that people are a little bit more aware of how they conduct themselves. But yes, we're just so thankful. I know there's a lot to share, like Sean said, us dancing, and we're thankful to come back, and we look forward to coming back each and every time, whether it be for a workshop, powwow, the artist showcase. It just makes me feel good to be in a room with a lot of talented folks and all championing change within our communities and making them positive impacts. So thank you very much. I actually have one additional comment before we jump into this. So Sean had mentioned that we have taken Sweetheart Dancing to different powwows across the country, but this is actually the very first time we've been able to do Sweetheart Dances here in the Bay Area. So we're excited that this is our first time to actually dance this here for you guys all tonight.
Oh, there we are. Wow, look at that beading. Looks really, really expensive. So we're going to go ahead and close out our event tonight. I want to thank everyone for coming out. I want to thank the artist, and I want to say congratulations. But again, thank you so much for sharing these parts of yourselves and dedicating everything and your time to this. I just want to send my love and my safety to everyone in the audience, and that you guys have a lovely time. And I really look forward to seeing most of you, if not all of you, at the Bates Two-Spirit Powwow coming up this February. Right, yes. Yes, every other Monday. Please volunteer. Thank you. Now with closing out, I'm going to welcome up back Angel and Zamora.
Hello. Wow. I hope that your heart and your mind is filled. We need this type of medicine. We do, and we need to be in community around this medicine. So thank you all to artists, thank you board members, thank you community for showing up and showing out. There's a lot of things happening tonight, and thank you for choosing us. Just letting you know that we will be opening up this opportunity again in March. We had 30 applicants this year alone, so there is a need that we just want to continue fulfilling and supporting and letting go of the results, because the results are just phenomenal, beautiful. So with that, Tlaso Kamatli, Zamora.
Thank you so much, friends. Wow, just great medicine. Just great Two-Spirit and DigiQueer. Big freaking medicine, no? Gonna sleep good, gonna dream good. Inspire you. Come on, what you got? Talk to your people. Hey, there's this thing, man. You need to get a part of that. You need a piece of that. We need you. Get them to apply. And if there ain't enough, we'll work harder. We're gonna work harder, right, boss? To make more space, to get more of this good energy. It's good for me. I'm in the back. Oh, yeah. I can't dance, but y'all were looking up here. I'm so back there. Yeah. Because those are my people. I want to see them. I want to get up on my feet and honor them with my little dance, because I'm honored by your work. Thank you so much for coming together, supporting each other, showing up tonight, and making sure that our artists see you smile and cry and be moved, because it gives them more energia to do it again and again and again, because it's our lives. It's our expression. It's our corazón. We ain't got no choice. We have got to live our lives. I'm glad to see you all. And please remember, come again and always support your community, always support your artists, even the ones that don't call themselves artists, because you know damn well they are. Yeah. Tomorrow, P.S., I just happen to have, I got 3 tickets, y'all. I got 3 tickets. Who wants to come to a beading class tomorrow? Come talk to me. I got 3 spots. Come on, with our friends. Right here. Again, 10 a.m. Can you make it? Come talk to me. And what else? We got more love coming up next Friday. I know you're busy. I know. But next Friday, we're going to get down. We're going to have break some bread together over in Oakland. Hey, East Bay. We're coming at you. Not always in San Francisco. East Bay, 6 o'clock next Friday. Social mixer, potluck. Oh, my God. We're talking about what we're going to cook, huh? Come on over, see your people, and get that energy to go with you on your travels, on your holidays, so you leave with a little love from the Bay, from Bates, from your peeps. Okay, y'all, that's all. What else we got to say? Cristal, come on. Thank you to our wonderful hosts.
I don't know. Go out there. Be hella queer, hella Two-Spirit, be hella gay, be hella homos, all right? Just go. Be non-binary as heck. I was gonna cuss. Be cunty. Be yourselves. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Please take a look at all the gorgeous art and enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right. Buenas noches. Woo! All right.
In 2009, my son Nico and I moved to Berkeley to live with my sister. I had just finished master's programs in Massachusetts and also returned from helping to care for my grandmother in Tonga before she passed away. We lived on 6th Street in an apartment in Berkeley, and I would go to the marina a lot to figure out my life in this new place. I would walk by Aquatic Park to the other side of the freeway, and every time I walked over that bridge, I always saw people putting up these signs, and on the signs it would say no on 8 or like no on hate. That's exactly where people had their no on 8 signs. Right here. People would go by and honk and nod. I didn't know what it meant. So when I came home, I would ask my sister, like, what's that about? And she said, oh my God, that's the biggest issue that's happening in California right now. Prop 8. It's yes against gay marriage. My sister said to me, we just watched the news last night and they showed the Yes on 8 protests at the Los Angeles Mormon Temple. I saw Tongan men and Tongan and Samoan young men shouting at gay and queer people that they're going to hell for being gay and that marriage is just between a man and a woman.
The night I came home, though, I broke down because the cherry on the top was watching the news coverage of all of us out there just shouting yes on 8.
I'm Polynesian, queer, and raised, baptized in the Mormon Church. And of all the issues our Polynesian community could organize around, drugs, violence, gangs, education for our youth, they choose the one that is against me and my queerness.
Participated on the yes on Prop 8, so that definitely go against where I'm at now. Participated one day at Lake Merritt with hella church folks. And this is one thing I realized that was a heavy issue in the Pacific Islander community, specifically Tongan. The way they were campaigning to getting all the yate trucks and doing car parades before COVID car parades were even a thing. Like, we were already parading around this campaign, seeing all the loliates out there with yes on Prop 8. I was proud to see Tongan folks advocate on the level that I was as a youth, appreciating activism in the way that I was like, what can we Tongans do in this way outside of church? That was my first shift in understanding, like, wow, like, this is an important conversation to our Tongan community. Why? I understand how faith played a role in that. After that day of campaigning, the things that I was saying, oh my gosh, I was like shouting, yes on 8. Guideline to all the cars that were coming on 580 off that exit of MacArthur with my sign, with my family. Appreciating community on that level. But then also in my gut, in my spirit was like, this is wrong. This does not feel right.
So this, even if you get married, it's still illegal with the paperwork because the marriage between only a female and a male, because they ought to raise the family. So we were like in awe, oh my gosh, that is ridiculous. So those are the ones that married already. They are gonna go to heaven, but the same sex that late to the marriage, they're gonna go to hell. So we didn't know what to do but to lay down on the street and stop the traffic on Van Ness and Market Street. Oh boy, did we stop the traffic then.
I probably denounced myself when I was 10, 2 years after my baptism, but I still attended church because it was the only place where other Polynesians organized and where my parents felt community.
So when I went from Sunnyvale, my father's place, to Auckland, I went to Auckland to live with my auntie Sokopeti Kaho. Sokopeti Kaho is Tuimala Kaho's younger sister, and she has passed away already, but to cancer. And so when I went to stay with her, she was busy over there. But I remember she told me when we first met in San Mateo, previous to that, she told me, if you ever need a place to go visit, or I'm in Auckland, and my place is behind the Emporium. And I knew there was only one Emporium downtown Auckland. So when I took the bus from Sunnyvale, I had to take that on 3 buses. So there was a bus from Sunnyvale to San Mateo, and there's one from San Mateo over the bridge, San Mateo Bridge, to Hayward. And from Hayward, I have to take one from there to go to airport. And the airport, there's one that goes right in the middle of Broadway, downtown. And that bus driver was like, "Where are you going?" To the Emporium, but it was nighttime already. And he said, "But it's closed already." I said, "I know, but behind it is where my auntie lives, and I need to go there." And he said, "Oh, okay, wow, okay, yeah, you're good. Yeah, as long as you know where the house is." I said, "Yes, there's only one house there. It's the cleanest house in that street, and I know it's my auntie." So he goes, "This is the Emporium. See, it's closed, but your auntie's behind it." So yeah, so I got off and I went, and she was sitting there outside. She was, "Uh-oh, hello." So, he was surprised. She was surprised that I had, and she said, "What happened?" And so I told her what happened. So something happened between me and my father in Sunnyvale ever since we came to live there. And everybody went to school, and I get to take care of my grandmother. And then we buried my grandmother when she died, but we never did agree to each other ways of living, because he's always like telling me that my walking is too feminine or something like that, or the way I talk should change, even the way I eat is wrong. So, and I knew that that's only me out of the siblings that I have there. All of us were there. The only me that I do something wrong. Even walking around in the house is something wrong. That I need to correct it. So that was my first experience of the correctional facility underneath my father's roof. And the last thing he said to me, like, "If you don't change that, then you shouldn't be in the same roof with us." And that right away, it got me thinking of Auckland, my auntie Sokopeti, right away.
My Mormon cousin, who I was randomly staying with for like 2 weeks, she was part of it. She'd been making homophobic remarks anytime the campaign came up on the news or we drove by signs. And I bit my tongue because she was older than me, and you just gotta respect your older cousins. But one day we were driving on the freeway, and there were 2 people holding "No on 8" signs, and my cousin yelled out the thing, "Yes on 8," and then she realized I told her I was against Prop 8, and then there was an awkward silence, and then it was weird in the home, so I just left early. And anytime I brought up my experience and homophobia, she would immediately end the conversation, and she didn't want to enter. She didn't want to enter in dialogue about it. I think her strong religious beliefs and homophobia made it impossible for me to stay with her.
I'm just doing this because when I was in Olo came out of Prop 8. So we wanted to have a queer a queer visibility of Pacific Islanders saying, no, we don't agree. We actually feel, and we felt like we had to come together so we could have that kind of power to mobilize, you know? So we couldn't do it, people couldn't do it by themselves. And so that's how Olo came out. And so when I was in Olo, I always saw like, wow, I'm hearing stories that like there's a lot of suffering in our community, in our Pacifica community about Prop 8. But yet everyone is for it. And so, in every house, I mean, I will even challenge your own family that there's more than you queer in your home. And, just from what I've seen in the world, that's just how I've seen life is. But I mean, I've seen people who are like 10, they have 10 kids and they're the only queer person. But I think it's because it's that scary. Yeah. It's that scary to come out, So we organize Olo, One Love Oceania, a queer art activist group to say no to the images proliferating in mainstream media about Pacifica people being a violent, homophobic culture.
Real talk, when I was 5, I wanted to kill myself. 5. I tried to do it, and then I think that's what queer kids do throughout their life. So I think each time I didn't do it, that's like trying to accept who I am, I think every time we, decide to live when people don't want us to live, I think that's just, that's kind of when you get to choose yourself. So, yeah.
This is where I used to always hang out when we're doing this work with Prop 8. Gene and I used to walk from my apartment down here all the time,
And then it used to be like a donut shop on the Castro. It's open 24 hours. And sometimes we don't find any people that invite us to their party. We invited ourselves to, the 24-hour donut shop and the donut there for a few hours before 6, and then we return up again and it's packed all the time. And sometimes I listen to that song, Raining Man, and I said, that's what they meant. Back then in those days in the Castro was truly Raining Man. Yes. So, there. And that's the memory of that time until Prop 8. So, yeah, it was beautiful then. And then Utopia came on, Prop 8 came on, and then we were laying on the street just to, to stop the traffic so people can see us. We're laying there, not only for ourselves, but we have family to raise, and then we have to educate our little children now.
To do this kind of work is also such a work to honor the Ohlone, right? To tell our own stories as people who live here on their land is a way to honor them. Because you're showing their land in a way that you really love and care for it, so you're fighting to live in it harmoniously, The Christian churches, the vehicle for colonization, taught Pacifica people to hate and condemn ourselves, our indigenous selves. As indigenous people, Mahu, Takatapui, Fa'afafine, Fa'atama were revered and loved. They were our family members, teachers, leaders, elders, children. They were us. We can protect and empower ourselves from the West's criminalization of us as Mahu by learning and practicing our indigenous values, like Tauhiva, working hard to care and nurture the space of relationships between us, and Aloha Aina, honoring that which feeds us, which are our loved ones, the land we live on, the indigenous people whose land we live on, our neighborhoods, and our community. Colonization took so much from Pacifica, from Wananui, from Wansalwada. Let us never let it take away how we love, how we care, and protect each other.
Being a filmmaker. Hold on, this is for the lulz. Humor me. Being a filmmaker is inspiring because I'm Mimi Poo and Dinan. Fuck, I'm saying a lot. I'm Alana Teak Poo. I'm Mimi Poo and Dinan. I'm Mimi Poo and Dinan, or Nez Perce in Navajo, for anyone who wouldn't know that sort of thing. There's quite a bit of them. Teak Poo means snow on the branches. I was born during a blizzard, so I think there's a lot of, like, I'm just really cool because of that. I think the best way to describe myself is non-binary trans mask, but that's like, I don't know, what does that mean to a person, like to a normie? What? It's so weird to explain that, like, I don't feel like a woman. I feel more like a man, but no one will ever respect or see me as one. And that's like, feels bad, man. And so I just kind of like navigate like this, and I can't tell if people really respect or understand that.
Sassy. Go song. C15D, take 2.
Action. Whenever I do things that are like traditionally female, like I'm just a gay little man doing it. I'm not a woman doing woman things. I'm a man doing woman things. And whenever I'm performing a more like traditionally masculine role, I'm some stone cold butch doing it, you know? It's like, that's how I personally feel doing those things, that like I'm technically, like, these are roles that people place value on in specific ways. So everything I do is inherently a bit gay. Everyone talks about representation and like having our own voices, which is what we should have. Like, that should be like the bare minimum. Being a filmmaker is cool. Telling stories is fun, and playing pretend with friends is it's pretty fun. It's cool, and like paying people to do that, that's neat. It's expensive though, so we should all get more money for it. Like, or I don't know, maybe this is just a rant where I complain about, like, the heteros, because we should complain more about them. Like, yeah, where's your panache, heteros?
Con permiso of Yalamu y all my relations. Maria de Refugia, mi nana Cuca, great-grandmother. Viviana Treviño Amezcua, Buelita Vivi, great-grandmother. Carolina Nava Constancio, great-grandmother. Leonor Martinez Porras, great-grandmother. Josefina y Andrés, mis jefitos, parents, all my relations, gratitude and love. Mi querido Yasol Amaru, sun, sun rising through earth, water, vessel, my earth, water, vessel, sun rising. Desde la tierra de mi San Felipe, natural springs y Rio Grande flowing. Coahuiltecan charcoal foot traveler, de Sacramento, Russian y American rivers. To Yalamu, Yamaya, to spirit powwow, circolo relatives. Reminded by the Tule, harvesting and working in community and Tomales Bay, together to learn as we build, we recover. Healing begins with grounding. Believing in earth mama ways of sound medicine, from water vibrations, pájaro relative cantos, drum rhythms, y echoes of poppy flower too, colibri wings flapping y coyote calls in the night against the flickering and fire and relatives, laughter y llantos también. Bloomed, two spirit rising joy journey. Tradition retreated, soul bliss weaver, medicine maker, new relations, reunion, charged, fortified, Bay Indigiqueer Familia spirit guides, collaborators, thought partners, co-pilots, co-conspirators, co-dreamers, co-powers, holding healing, holding transitions, holding ceremonia, holding each other, creating, claiming, shifting, collectively, spaces, corners, stages, platforms, films, teatro, choreography, prayer, actions, policy, shifting, museum, takeovers, galleries claimed, movie houses, carving out places to celebrate our present, past, and future too, being and becoming our ancestors' wildest dreams collectively. We are still here. We are still here, taking steps, recalling blood memory through jingle dances, sung, weaving, drumming, handheld, water, huehuetls, también, peyote rattles, clapper sticks, flutes y sonajas, acknowledging missing and murdered indigenous relatives, two spirits across California y Indian country, Mexico y las Americas too. Oh, El Frank, y my beloved canoe family. Acknowledging our travels and leaning and learning on each other along Washington as one under stars, under sun, under moon, within the waters, along the Salish coast, holding sacred fires nightly, grateful for the precious love and care of Auntie Bibi, ukulele songs, powerful prayers, strong and trust, wisdom, sweet ways, to remind me that I too am worthy of the goodness I continuously give and invest in others. Commuting, over and on rails, bridges, ferries, BARTs y caruchas too. Rio ripples, ocean blessings, of mar, mist, fog limpias, y olla viento blessings, seeing myself in soul ocean waves, foam and clouds, even growing again through, shooting up through into the concrete. Ponte pilas, says Frida Jean. No te rajes, says Yolanda, as I look at her in the sky, murals ablaze. Alcatraz sunrise, California dream, in two realities. In Sagrado regalia, plumas, beads, ribbons, relatives, jingle cones, ayayotes, con tapaco, sage y copal. Within that special space también of the sweetgrass and cedar coming on in and holding us up. Sacred ancestor ways of being, of becoming whole again, in our collective process of healing our contemporary landia, healing in our contemporary landia of locura curas. Calling our siblings home, calling our siblings home, calling in the healing for ourselves también. Basta con la injusticia. And ahead, forward, on we go with the work that calls us. Deepest gratitude to my creative community for becoming familia, each paso at a time. Gratitude for my vessel, mi cuerpo, with and without my cane. Mi movimiento es mi medicina. My movement is healing. My healing is my movement. My movement is alignment. My alignment is movement. Calling in nuevo. Movimiento. Calling in new movement in drag, in performance art, y cabaret. Acknowledging our present arte. Acknowledging our present state. The continuous overflowing coraje and grief too. Ya basta, seize fire. Ya basta, seize fire. Viva, viva Palestina! Viva, viva Palestina! Breathe. Can we breathe together? Can we hold our breath and each other together?